Hey there, Michael Greenwood here. So this is a frequently asked question that I get all the time, really. So will moving my website affect my SEO? And this particular question is, will moving to WordPress affect my SEO? So this is a bit of a variation on that theme, if you will. We're going to talk specifically about WordPress and migrating to it. So why are you moving to WordPress, or why have you moved to WordPress in the first place? Is it because it's used by up to 25% of the world's websites? I love WordPress. I develop in WordPress for the website clients that I have, and I've used lots of other content management systems, and I was developing websites before I'd even heard of WordPress. Back in would have been like 2004 when I were at college. And I created my first website project for my sister and her friend. Right, let's get stuck in to the upside of actually choosing WordPress and how that might affect your SEO when you're migrating. I'll give you an example, like say you went from Wix to WordPress. You're going to find that WordPress, you're going to have lots of access to a lot of things, and that means that the old framework is essentially, in essence, SEO friendly, because you're going to be able to make the tweaks that you need to do to make it SEO friendly. Plus, there's a plugin for everything. So there's Yoast SEO, there's all-in-one SEO, which make it even more easier to access the bits that are going to make it easy. But the theme's got to be built well. I would suggest a custom theme where you've got less code and it's more custom built for your purpose, rather than maybe like an off-the-shelf paid theme where it's trying to be a lot of things to a lot of people. They've got lots of features, and you end up switching some bits off, and you use some bits, but some of the code's still there, and there's lots of code and all that kind of thing. So it's better to less is more when it comes to code, fewer lines of code, more efficient code, and it's going to come down to that efficiency. So the caveat there is it is nuanced. This question. Not every WordPress website is going to be built the same, and efficient code is, when other things are considered equal, is going to beat the inefficiency that comes from lots of code that's there that you don't even need, or poorly written code and all that kind of thing. So we're talking like HTML scripting, PHP, all that kind of thing. Lots of things to happen before you get the kind of thing. So lots of stuff for the browser and the DOM and all that kind of thing. Might be talking technical now, but I might have some technical viewers on this one. However, just to kind of put it in plain English for example, the non-technical business owner, when you're migrating a WordPress website, please pick somebody to help you, who understands SEO as well as web development, somebody like me, because I've seen and heard loads of horror stories of somebody chooses a web developer. All right, mate, I'll do your website for 200 quid, and it end up creating a real problem because they don't consider the SEO, they don't consider which pages are already indexed, they kind of butcher the things by not putting things like 301 redirects in place and stuff like that. So that's something, if you take one thing away from this video, 301 redirect. Right, so next up, we've got the user friendliness of the content management system. I'm going to go through 301s later on in this video as get under the URL structure changes, under the downside. So bear with me. But yeah, WordPress is very user friendly as a content management system. You don't have to be a developer, but I would say that you need some help with all the nuances, all the plugins, and perhaps the updates and all that kind of good stuff, because it's not as hands-off as you might be used to. So that in itself might not make it as kind of SEO friendly to you, but the fact that you've got so much control, it can do. But in terms of one of the things that WordPress makes quite simple is you can set things like cornerstone content. You can quite easily add new pages, posts. You can clone. You can make quick decisions. And whereas for me it's more cost effective because you're not having to reinvent the wheel if you want to do something. So let's say you want to hit a market, you want to look to start to penetrate a market more quickly because you need a booking system, and that's the next natural evolution in your business, and you need to get that onto your website, and you need to get a payment gateway on and all that kind of thing. You can do it with a plugin quite quickly, whereas if you're bespoke, you've got to have that thing created and you're reinventing the wheel. Yeah, it might have all the bells and whistles and things like that, but it's cost benefit in business, so you can actually use some plugins as a proof of concept. Let's say you don't even know if booking's going to work. You can stick the plugin on, you can configure it, or get somebody to configure it for you, and it can help you. So why am I bringing that up with an SEO video? Why are you telling us this, Michael? Well, you can get more results by having more pages, and if you've got a booking page and that's what your audience need, that's what they're searching for, you can satisfy that search and get more eyeballs on your business, on your brand, by just having a website that just satisfies more searches, basically. So that's why it's so user friendly, because there's so much available in the community, and it's such a fantastic community. Next up is mobile responsiveness. I mean, most of the themes, a lot of the themes, many of the themes, whatever, are built with mobile first. So I mean, when you're building the themes, you can see the mobile view, the tablet view, the desktop view, all that kind of thing. So yeah, it's mobile friendliness, mobile responsiveness is one of the main things with SEO, which is really, really important. So there's been a big kind of push on that from an SEO point of view to get websites more user friendly. That has simply been because more and more people have been using mobile devices, smartphones, we've got internet, and that's definitely been a shift, a big paradigm shift in the last 10 years or so. I remember selling these little mobile-friendly separate versions of websites. You had it on an m.dot subdomain, and there were a bit of software where it displayed like a client who had a website where it wasn't mobile-friendly, it would display it in like a little mobile phone kind of skin. And we used to sell those mobile sites, but that's when they were kind of, we didn't know if it were going to go mobile responsive, we didn't know if it were going to go mobile separate mobile site. But then obviously the mobile responsive approach won. Right, onto the downside, and just remember that the mobile responsive is absolutely critical. It's a critical ranking factor for mobile. And site speed is as well, which we're going to bring up. So when you change your domain, or when you move to another platform, there's going to be sometimes a little dip, or sometimes a significant dip in doing so. So you've really got to have a plan of action. You've really got to have a migration plan in place, and write down the risks and how you're going to mitigate against them. So URL structure, WordPress is fantastic at letting you put pretty much any URL structure together that you want. So like back in the day, we used to have these variable URLs, which are like a P and then a P equals 123 or something like that. And they were like the page names, and then we went for this more static URL kind of thing. Now they're called SEO friendly URLs. But yeah, it was always like a dynamic versus static kind of URL kind of approach. And in a nutshell, you didn't want the dynamic ones because they didn't have the kind of keywords or like the recognition of somebody actually reading the URL in there. So it didn't, and it looked just some numbers and things like that. So we came away from that. That's relatively a long time ago now in technology terms, but in terms of URL structure, you can set all that up in WordPress. But what do you actually need to do then, Michael? So I'm going to give you some real world examples now, and some things that I've seen again and again. I've worked a lot of clients to migrate to WordPress and other. And also helped them to change domain and things like that, and consulted with them on that and helped them to implement it. So all it boils down to is, let's say and I'll type some bits in here. Actually, you might be going from let's say you're a butchers or something like that. So Dave's Butchers, like that .com, and you now want to be called, maybe your surname's Smith and you want to be called Smith's Butchers, like that. So you're going from that one to that one. So this one, Dave's Butchers, that's indexed in Google. This one is brand new, and you're building that WordPress or any other content management system. This is on Wix or whatever, or any other content management system. The point is, what I want you to consider here is that the domain name's changing, and it's going to be something different. So what you do is you have a 301 redirect, which is in an htaccess file, and it's a .htaccess, and that comes out of the box with WordPress. And you're basically going to say, I'm not going to write the code here, but I'll do a video on it if you want me to. You're basically saying the logic of it, with the logic in programming. You're saying, Google, if one of your Google searches lands on, clicks on or taps on this one, we've permanently moved to, so please update your database. And then what will eventually do, what Google will eventually do, is they'll change, they'll take this out of the search engine results pages, the SERPs, and put this one in. If you don't put this in place, what will happen is when you take, say if you just took this website down, which is getting the traffic, and then you put it onto this one, that's gonna still be in Google, and it's gonna get just a broken link or just whatever error page it is. There's another scenario though. Let's say you're sticking with the Dave's Butchers. You're not going to do this scenario, so you're sticking with Dave's Butchers, and all you're doing is moving to WordPress. So Dave Butchers is moving from Wix to WordPress, like that. And what's going to happen is you're going to put a 301 redirect on there, only if any of the page structures have changed. So let's say, and this is one of the mistakes that the web developers, some of the web developers who don't really know what they're doing when it comes to SEO, to put it bluntly, do. So let's say Dave Butcher's old website has got some pages, and it's got home page, and it's got about, and it's got services, and it's got stake, and it's got contact. Yeah, and then Dave's got a blog, and he's got how to prepare the perfect sirloin. Or shall we go for ribeye? Ribeye's my favourite. And he's got a few other blog posts. So he's got, he knows that he needs content for SEO. Right, so amateur web designer comes along, right? No clue what he's doing in terms of SEO. He's going to create a new website, and he's not even looked at it's not even considering that Dave's got some positions in Google where he's coming up for. What he's going to do is say, he's either going to be one of these who says, oh, You just need one page to make it nice and clear. People are getting confused with this. So it's just going to basically give you a one-page website, which is not going to be SEOable unless you've got loads of links coming in. But that may, well, who's realistically going to link to a local butcher one page? It's not realistic, so it's probably going to be spammy. That's not going to work. Probably get you penalised. Generally, you've got to have quite a few hundred pages really for that type of site. So you have recipes on it, you'd have all kinds of things and all that stuff. But yeah, so that's one scenario. And what happens is anybody who then goes to any of these pages, it's going to give a 404 page, but sometimes the web developers don't even create those, so it just gets like a dead link on that broken link. So but or maybe you've got the web developer, he keeps the pages like that, but what he does, he basically it creates a new page for this, and he cuts off that, and he calls services our services, because he's not really considering that, and he's got contact us, right, and about us. So in that scenario, that's okay to do that. It's okay to rename your pages. That's no problem. But that's where you need your 301 redirect. 301 permanent redirect. So the web developer who knows what they're doing is just going to make those changes and not create that file. The web developer who knows what they're doing and understands SEO and the impact of this is going to create a 301 permanent redirect, and they're going to link, they're going to say, a bit like what we did in this, this example, we're telling Google that that's kind of the pseudocode, so like the logic behind it, that we do as programmers. And we're going to say permanent 301 redirect, and we're going to say, this is not the code, but this is like the pseudo code. We're going to say this to this. We're going to say this one that's services is now this. You get the idea. You do that for each one, and you say that one. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with doing that, renaming URLs. But so if we bring this down, bring this back to, we're talking about will moving to WordPress affect my SEO. That's why it's nuanced, because it depends who you've got as your implementation partner, who's helping you to move this along. Because if they know this, or if they just watch this video, they'll realise, you point them to this video if you're using a web developer now, and you say, look, just ask them the open-ended question: how we're gonna mitigate these risks of maybe a drop in traffic from SEO. So that's that. So that's your URL structural changes. The other thing is, it's not just about Google. So we'll look at these examples as well. It's not just about the Google positions, it's about the backlinks. So if you've got links coming in to, I'll give a realistic example, because you might not have links coming into your About Us page, but you might have them coming into this one, how to prepare your perfect ribeye. So if you've got some backlinks coming in here, and then you change this URL in your migration to WordPress to this, then the backlinks when they hit that page, that's not going to be there anymore. If you don't have a 301 redirect in place, it will 404. You get a 404 page. So this is the other thing. The 404 page is something that the web developer puts together. Without the 404 page, that's where you get that's where you get a broken link. But what you want to do is, because Google will look at a 404 page and then they'll de-index it basically, whereas they'll look at a 301 directive, 301 redirect, and Google will change the search engine from here to here. Now with the backlinks though, the backlink, when somebody clicks on it from another web page, from like another website onto here, the 301 redirect will redirect them from here to here. So they'll see the page that they wanted. And that's what you want. However, what would be even better is to put the 301 redirect on, and then if at all feasible, you'd be better going in and changing the backlink if you can. So if that backlink's in a web directory, for example, you've got the logins, I would log in and change that, but it's not always feasible. And what that will do, it will slightly make the internet a slightly quicker place by, just a fraction. It's a redirect, it's a bit of processing power. But generally, if you can fix both connections, then do it. So best example of that is if you've got and this is where we get into kind of you've got a website, you've got a couple of hundred pages, 80% of it, 90% of it are these blog posts or learning center articles or whatever it is, this help and advice center, and maybe you've got another one which is, I'm going to kind of be lazy, but the perfect rump steak. Right, let's say somebody reads this and at the bottom of this you want to link to here. Oh, maybe you like rump as well, right? So you're starting to create like a spider's web of content that keep people on your website for longer, which helps your SEO, and it helps to satisfy the user's search, build that know, like and trust, give them the information, then eventually that they may buy from you. Okay, so generally you're better off having fewer 301 redirects. Now what you can do when it comes to migration, or if you just want to change your URLs for whatever reason, so you're going to just change URLs, if these are both linking to each other because they're relevant to each other, and you're better off making it easy for your website user to find the content, and you just change them both, and that's linking to that and that's linking to that, then without a 301 redirect, they're going to both 404. They're going to both go to a 404. So what you're better off doing is actually just logging into your page and then changing the link. So so once you've changed your link at the same time, think, how many pages, internal pages are linking to this? Let's just go in and change the link as well, not just a link. So in some of these plugins, when you change your URL, it'll ask you if you want to set up a 301 redirect as well. That can be useful, but sometimes you want to say no, and you want to then go into the pages and then change where you know that it's linking to. So how do you know? I mean, you can use something like Screaming Frog. That'll tell you. Good audit tool in Ahrefs. I think SEMrush has got one as well. It'll tell you what's linking to it internally. So generally, 301's redirects are good, but if you can at all just correct that link so it don't even have to redirect from old link to new link, then that's even better. That's enough about links, but links are very important, so I spent a lot of time on it in this video. Next up is site speed. This is really important. This is not just about your server hosting. It's not just about optimization of images, which is important. This is nuanced. This is a whole topic in itself. This is probably a whole video in itself, but I'll skim over it. So basically, you need to make sure that your hosting is going to be nice and fast. The WordPress theme is nice and efficient. So a custom theme is usually better than a paid theme, because a paid theme is trying to be everything to everyone, appeal to a wider audience, be developed and worked on once, and you stack them high, sell them cheap. Because some of these themes, which are like $70, you can't build that website for $70. So they build it once and then they give a license to all these people, but essentially they're trying to make it appeal to a lot of people as well, even though it's probably niched. So it might be a website for accountants, but they've got the thought of everything that an accountant would need, like a VAT calculator or tax, corporation tax, whatever they've got on there. So yeah, site speed is vitally important. Using a content delivery network, a CDN, a really good idea. Having caching in place, server caching, client-side caching, the website, minifying your JavaScript, all that kind of thing. So essentially, to break this down for site speed, I'd look at your web hosting. I look at your plugins, if there's any kind of resource-hungry plugins. Theme, clean code, efficient. Caching. And then other efficiencies. So you can have like minification, all that kind of thing, etc. So that wraps up site speed, vitally important to SEO, one of the most important ranking factors. You want a nice user experience. Google doesn't want to send people to slow websites. They want searchers to have a great experience on Google, which is their website. So they want everything to be fast, like Google is. So next is the duplicate content issues. So there are inbuilt canonical tags, and these basically, let's say you're doing you're split testing or something like that. You've got a few versions of your own page. You can say this is the right version, but we've got these others as well that we're kind of testing, and you're basically reducing or eliminating any perception, any risk really of duplicate content on your page. But duplicate content as well, that kind of doesn't just cover it. That's a lot of it, but your content needs to be unique as well. So obviously don't do things like copy content. That's copyright theft anyway. Make sure that the content is unique. The other thing then, so in terms of making sure that you're mitigating your downtime, this is where you really need to have a plan of action. So when are your busy periods? Let's say I always ask a question. I always ask a client, right, we're migrating your website. When are your kind of less busy times? And we can do that on a Friday evening or something. We'll do that migration, and then we can set everything up because you're going to have DNS changes, which domain name servers, or maybe the A records are just going to be changed. So basically, if you're going from Wix, for example, to WordPress, you're going to be changing hosting as well. You're going to be changing the platform that the website that allows it to be on the internet and have all the uptime and have the traffic and things like that. So that's another thing to consider. When are you going to change your website? Because propagation, internet propagation, which is the process of swapping from one location essentially to another with the name servers, can take 12 to 72 hours. So you're going to have some downtime. You're going to have some time when the website's maybe not available. You're going to have to maybe you've got a lot of traffic and you need to let your customers know that it's not going to be available. So you want to do it. You want to do the migration at night, which you probably pay somebody more for. But is it worth? Is it cost benefit of doing it? And think about why you're migrating in the first place. Because you want to grow with a platform that's fantastic, like WordPress, which lots of options, big community, lots of plugins for everything. So moving itself can affect SEO just because of potentially some teething problems that you have as well. But the old migration process really. So it's kind of a lot of things to think about really, and that's why you need a good migration partner like me. So best practices for a smooth migration. Let's get stuck into these. Back up everything. Take backups of backups. Have at least 3 backups, but also rollbacks, so you can roll back to a point. So you're okay having a backup, but test your backups and make sure that you can actually roll back. It's pretty much non-negotiable backups really, and then use professional services really. There are some migration plugins that we use, but yeah, just make sure that you've thought about everything really, and you've got a plan of action. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Next thing is, you're not going to want to migrate when you've got nobody to check the site as soon as you need to be checking as soon as it goes live. So let's say you've got a big website and it's got a lot of traffic. You'll have, let's say you've got kind of some departments in your company and they look after a certain section of the website. They're going to want to not have taken annual leave on that day, or you're going to want to pick a day, or maybe they're coming for on a Saturday or something like that. There's got to be some checking from subject matter experts who understand those bits of the website, and you need to have your migration partner available in case there are any problems. So there needs to be that kind of teething period for a few days or a week even, depending on the size. Just trying out any kinks, and to keep have your Google Search Console, have a look at any drops, have a look at your analytics. Are there any drops? Are there any dead spots? Anything happening with loss of traffic and things like that? And then the next thing is, assuming you've had some of these changes especially, and do it anyway, I would resubmit your sitemap on Google Search Console. So that's another thing. So yeah, in conclusion, usual caveat. I mean, your web developer might have a different plan for you, but this provides a pretty good overview. This is pretty much how I do it, and I've been doing it for over 15 years. So and this is kind of an overview in just over 35 minutes, nearly 35 minutes of how I'd approach this. So yeah, I hope you found this interesting, and any comments, let me know. Like, subscribe, and share, and give me a comment, and I'll see you next time.